have you made phone calls yet? Well, no, but I got a list. I got it sent over. I got the data. It's all skip trade. And I'm like, all right, Peggy, stop. We're going to role play a call right now. Cause I just wanted to see where she was at. We did a role play conversation for like a good 15, 20 minutes. It was actually good. It was very clear that she's been paying attention. She's been absorbing the content. She's been taking notes. And I was like, Peggy, you did a great job on that call. Stop wasting time and go out and make your calls. Like, I expect that as soon as we hang up the phone right now, you're not going to do anything else. You're just going to immediately start dialing the phone numbers on the list in front of you. Well, guess what? Peggy started calling. Peggy actually sent me a text message this morning that was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Started making the calls, started reaching out to the homeowners. I got like 3 people that connected. One of them was the wrong phone number. This happened. And so now Peggy is learning. Peggy is figuring out the business from actually taking action.
So that's awesome. First and foremost, way to go, Peggy. Super proud of you, because it is terrifying when you get started. I just shared, what is it called? The All In podcast?
Yeah, with the Millionaires.
Yeah. What's the one I just sent you that Chris Williams did with the guy who started Angel List? Anyways, he started we just shared that podcast. It was like a week ago. Well,
when you say just,
sorry, it wasn't this week.
You send a lot of things.
I do send him a lot of stuff, but there was one section. So we've all heard this. It takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something. I can't remember what his name is, but the gentleman that Chris Williams was interviewing, he said, well, I've heard it was 10,000 hours. It's actually 10,000 iterations. So when you do something, like when we first get the list, we're kind of afraid, let's do a role play and we're going to fail. And then we're like, okay, well, I learned this and now I need to tweak it a little bit and get a little bit better. So for all of us in here, it takes about 10,000 iterations to do something to become a master. I mean, Bobby just told us, so he's in Moab. What are you doing in Moab? What are you doing down there?
So I'm with a bunch of high school buddies. We've got a race this weekend. It's a shorter one. It's about 50 miles. And we are going to go have fun today and tomorrow. So I've got all buddies coming in. And I said, hey, I've got a call. So let's grab pizza for everybody. And I'm going to run upstairs and jump on with some friends. And then we're going to go for a ride. So they're waiting for me for a ride. But I'm down here biking at an old age. Marlon and Carolyn, I could add both of their ages up and it still wouldn't equal my age. But I do want to share something real quick. So both my kids, coolest thing ever, they graduated from college. They walked together last night, which was kind of unique because my daughter's gone to a different school. But it was interesting. It's the largest graduating class in the history of that school since 1941, this university. And they had people ages 16 to 71, but the Maverick CEO spoke and kind of shared her story. And it was interesting. 2 things she said that everybody needs to succeed in life. And it wasn't the MBA. It wasn't the doctorate degree. It was interesting. She said self-confidence and resilience. So your ability to have self-confidence, to pick up the phone, to make the call, that is, I don't care what your degree is, whether you're scholastic, not whether you're an athlete or not, just having the self-confidence to make those calls, like Beth and like some of the others on the call today, I think it's awesome. And then resilience is the stick-to-itiveness. And making sure you're consistent in doing that thing. If you pick anything, I've heard that 10,000 hours, they say practice makes perfect. And it's actually, practice doesn't make perfect, because we can practice doing the wrong thing over and over and over, and not be perfect. It's practicing the right thing and getting better and honing your craft. And it's interesting. You recognize when you pick up the phone and call somebody, you have that one call and you're like, right on. Try doing that with the next person. And it's totally different. Their circumstances are different. The catastrophic event that's causing this pre-foreclosure is different. And your ability to listen, assess, and navigate through this really hard conversation for them and connect on a level that you can be a trusted advisor is an art, and it can be learned. It's nothing that I would say we learned in school, but I love this lady's story about self-resilience. Dad started Flying J Gas, company. He was on the brink of bankruptcy, and then he dies in a plane crash. Mom and dad divorced, and she took over, and it was the people she focused on and honing that skill. And she's like, I have imposter syndrome. I'm not a CEO of a very large corporation. She jumped in, she built her self-confidence and was able to navigate through it with her team. So that's a big key to succeeding in this business.
Overall, that's a huge pointer. And I was like, Maverick, I understand now it's the gas station, what you're saying when you said Flying J. Yeah, I get it now. But
Yeah.
the reason I highlighted you being down in Moab, because when we started this before we went live, we're like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm doing a shorter race. And I love that Steve just said this. Stephen Miller just said it's a shorter one. Bobby's like, yeah, I'm doing a shorter race. It's only 50 miles. And Marla and I are both like, 50 miles. But the last race Bobby did, the big one, was in Colorado, and he raced, would you say 115 miles?
118 and about 11,000 vertical. And that was a butt kicker. I'm not going to lie. That one, after about 8 hours, I wanted to cry, and say, what am I doing? Why am I here? I hate this. Massages are the way to life from here moving forward. And they're not. When you do hard things, I told my kids, and I get a little emotional here. If they're going to survive in life, I said, I'm an old dude. I've got nothing to prove to anyone, but if I can do hard things, you can too. And it really is, true. We can take people that are in the depths, that are in the pits of despair. That is a hard thing. Put a notch on your belt that you just navigated through that, pick yourself up, get back on the horse. Crying that you fell off the horse does nothing for anybody. Get back on that horse. And I want to keep doing hard things until I'm 80. I just turned 75. So in another 5 years, I'm still going to be doing these.
If he can do it, you can do it too.
Do hard things.
Well, it's funny because I just pulled out the chat GPT, and this is going to be around what I make a video on later, where it's number 4, right? In this devil's game plan, he literally said, I would make pleasure the priority. I trick people into worshiping comfort, make them allergic to discomfort, adversity, and failure. So instead of building strength through resistance, they'd avoid it altogether. No gyms, no cold showers, no tough conversations, just another round of Call of Duty and Uber Eats.
Yeah. If you are comfortable, you're not progressing. That's the fact. So the fact that you are uncomfortable on these calls, put a check on your board, your whiteboard, or your piece of paper, and recognize that as a win. It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be in this business, right? There's so much attrition because people come in, they have self-confidence for one call, and then they're like, that's not for me. And they go back to the same thing. And that's why I like to push myself. I'm not the fastest, I'm not the slowest, but I am going to always push myself until I die.
And you know what? And this comes into, so the theme of today was from $0 to $25,000 in 100 days. Let's just talk about there's so many people. I bring that up because it's a story of Sheena. You guys have heard me talk about her a lot, but she is I called her today. I talked to her for about 10 minutes and I said, hey, what challenges are going on in the community right now? And she's like, Caroline, you always ask me this. I don't know. she never knows what's challenges going on because she's out door knocking every single day. And she just got a new door knocker that's door knocking for her. If we do the uncomfortable things, we get out of our comfort zone, like Peggy, like Beth, like Lisa, like Lindsay, like Melissa, like Adrian's on here. Dude, Adrian, good seeing you on here too. So many people are taking action. You get out of your comfort zone and then you push forward and you get a contract, or you help a homeowner who's like, I was going to lose my home. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am. Or Gerald, who came on my Zoom the other day so if you guys don't know Marlon, it's your first time seeing him. One of my best friends, one of the best people you ever knew meet. His Instagram is Mindset Marlon's how you reach out to him. But Gerald is contacting homeowners in pre-foreclosure. He has a child. He also is a barber. He's going through your high performance coaching right now. And he was just like, hey, Caroline, I wanted to tell you about this deal. I was originally going to make $20,000. My mentor, I didn't know who you were. He's like, my mentor, Marlon, told me my word is my bond. And I was going to pay this guy $20,000 and something came up and my assignment fee got down to $5,000. And I wanted to make sure the homeowner still made his money from working with me. So I kept my word. I learned a $50,000 lesson by going through this process of talking to homeowners. Now he's proof of concept. He's a really great barber. Comfort. I think you told me about there's a comfort zone there at one point, but now he's getting out of his comfort zone and reaching out to homeowners and helping them pull themselves up by their bootstraps and making them a hero. So it's really cool. You want to hang around the right campfire. You want to hang out with your Bobbies. You want to hang out with your Marlins, because what was it? My sister came over yesterday. My sister invited herself over to take her dog swimming. It was nice. She cleaned our backyard, but she sat down with us. And this is for everybody in here. I don't know if this will help anybody, but what did she ask us yesterday when she sat down? I was working on a presentation. You guys were chatting.
Well, first thing she asked us was kind of what are we working on, our projects?
What are we working on? Yeah. And then she asked us,
she asked us how do we make friends? How do we find the right people to bring into our lives? How do we start leveling up? Because that's a big thing. Who you surround yourself with is ultimately going to dictate the path that you start to walk in life. You know, like Bobby's out there, like he said, he's with his friends. They're all going out on bike rides. They're all pushing themselves. They're all helping each other unlock that next level. If your friends and family right now are okay with you being where you're at, and they don't encourage you to get outside of your comfort zone, they say, no, don't do that. It's dangerous. You don't know what you're doing yet. Those are the wrong people to keep around at this season of life. You need to have the people who are going to encourage you to go and take the uncomfortable action, who are going to encourage you to go out. I like to say, we say this to our friends all the time, go create chaos. Go out there and mess stuff up. Go make disaster happen and then bring it back, and then we'll fix it together. That's how we're going to learn. That's how we're going to solve this problem. I don't expect you to already know how to do it, because if you already knew how to do it, you would have already done it. I actually expect you to go and screw things up, which is so mind-blowing to people. It's like, guys, like, I genuinely expect you to go out there and make mistakes. And they're like, what do you mean? Aren't you teaching us how to not make mistakes? Yes, but you're still going to make mistakes anyway. That's a part of the process. We're here to make sure that those mistakes aren't world ending. They're not business ending, that you're able to get up, brush yourself off, and get back in the ring.
And don't end up in jail.
Yeah. Oh, that's big.
That's a big
Always
one.
stay legal.
Stay legal.
That is a big one. Your integrity has got to be worth, everything. So do everything with integrity.
It was cool because, and we've talked about this quite a bit, but like, Bobby, the reason I wanted to work with you and partner with you on stuff, because I'm like, you have the lifestyle I want. We don't want to work. We're doing a workshop in July, on July 18th. I'm going to do a webinar on that this afternoon at 3:00 to tell you guys about it. But I actually talked about this, Bobby, with my sister and Marlon yesterday. We're like, well, is this going to, we want to make sure we deliver massive value, but also, like, if I'm going to take time out of my day to do a workshop and show people how they can do deals like this, it's got to be worth my time too, because I'm leaving my family. I'm leaving the activities I want to do. And it's a really cool aspect that you're in that phase of your life now where you can be like, I don't know if it's worth my time right now. And you get to choose and pick what you want to do. And you said something like, I like hanging out with Caroline because she's one of my friends that's willing to, like, go all in on business, and we get to do fun things and we challenge ourselves. So that's something I love about you. We got to go to the gym some more. I would go lift weights with Marlon. I swear my biceps were the biggest they'd ever been, because I'm going to the guy who, like, you just got done slackline. Bobby, he went over with another how high up were you? Like, in the middle of a canyon.
Yeah, we're like 90 feet up. I just started getting into high lining. So it's like you get a slack line and you put it in between two canyons, and then it's like a 1-inch line, and it's so much fun.
You got a safety rope, right?
There is a safety rope. I'm not at the point yet.
So when you do fall, you've got that extra, adrenaline rush, pucker factor.
Yeah, but it is fun, and it comes from, again, even that's the reason that opportunity opened up to me, where it's like something that I've always wanted to do, is because being able to spend time with the people. I have friends who are professionals at this. I have guys and gals who are professional athletes who are able to let me come into their world and shortcut the entire process for me, which is, it's so interesting. Again, if I go back to the whole devil's playbook, one of the things that he says in there is I would get rid of mentors and elders inside of the communities. I would make it so that the younger men and women don't want to turn to their elders and turn to the people who have experience more. And they wouldn't spend time with these people. And it's like, because you lose out on all the wisdom, right? Like the things that people have learned from just like watching you and Caroline come on here and share. And an elder doesn't mean just by age, although Bobby does have some age on us. It's not about age. It's about the years of experience. He's my elder in experience with these situations, 10, 15 years of doing something. He can teach.
Yeah.
You talk about it, Bobby, and this is something that it's just a nice reminder. Like, Jerry Guzman came on a Zoom yesterday with me, and we brought up, like, guys, hey, tomorrow, aka today, is the auction day in Phoenix. Make sure you're circling, go back down, go hit these doors one more time. And he was in the Zoom with me, and he just quit his job. He's full-time doing this now. He said he's averaging about $50,000 to $60,000 a quarter right now, just by stopping foreclosures and helping families. And he's like, dang it, Caroline, I know I needed to hear this. There's a house I've thought about knocking and I didn't. I need to go door knock that house today. Yep. And it makes me think about when you were a kid. You talked about this last week, Bobby, but when you were delivering papers and you're like, I'm just going to do like 2 more. I'm going to do 2 more so I can outwork anybody else. And it's those little reminders of being around the right people. So if you're overwhelmed, you don't know how to get started on a new strategy or whatever task you are, hang out around the people you want to be like to accomplish those goals and knock them out. I think that's really big. But we can talk all day about our life scenarios. We want to help you guys out and answer some of your questions. I did throw a link in the side chat for you guys to jump in here and come up on stage with us. So we want to help you guys answer those. If you want some bicep building questions or how to outwit the devil, talk to this guy, talk to this guy over here, but we want to help you. He said, yeah, mindset is huge, but it comes with people who are prevalent with their mindset. And I will say this until I'm blue in the face. Marlon thinks he's a very boring man. I think you're one of the most interesting people because he's so dreamy. Because I have ADHD and I want to go, I can get distracted by things. So sometimes I actually moved my desk into Marlon's room. So like, we'll just go sit and work at the same time because it helps me body double. I get more done when I'm with other people. I like to bounce ideas off of others. So your campfire is really big, but I didn't work on any of this is another funny thing, Bobby. So we were talking about what we're going to do for the workshop. And I was like, man, let's have Marlon out there. Let's talk about mindset. I had never done any high performance mindset lifestyle stuff until I was 28. Because I was raised Catholic and I thought that was foo-foo. You don't need to do that. That's hullabaloo. And Bobby's like, that's part of my religion. What do you mean? Like the 7 habits for highly effective people. I've been taught that book since I was young. Like that's what we do in our family. We do this all the time. You do scripture with your kids every morning. So we have different lifestyles. I'd never done mindset stuff. One of my favorite things for everybody on here, if you've ever been on a Zoom with me, I start with a little motivational video for the first 5 to 10 minutes. Because one morning Marlon had his phone playing and he was listening to a hype video. Again, the devil doesn't want us to leave our comfort zone. Who wants to get out of their warm bed in the morning? You know what I mean?
No.
So I play that video. I'm like, the hard things are when you get out of your comfort zone. So the mindset is huge. And I see we have some people in the backstage that want to jump up here. I know this first one's going to be for you, Bobby, because it made me laugh. I saw the comment in the side chat and I can't wait to hear it.
I'm in so much trouble.
No.
Lindsay, I've been on the phone. I was texting at 6 a.m. on my commute, and I've had so many calls, even on the way down. That's the beauty of this business is you really can use a device. And did you
preferably not an Android?
No, there's no better device than Android. So no.
What's your question, Lindsay? Go ahead.
Did you sign the memo or the contract, please and thank you? And I know I can jump in here and hold you hostage.
She knows how to catch us. I saw it earlier.
I don't see that's through email. I don't see it.
You should have the contract as well.
Look, she even asked in the private chat. She's like, did Bobby sign the memo or the contract? So Lindsay, if you guys don't know, Lindsay's on our team too. And she knows where she can catch us where we're trapped and we're not answering. So she found us on the live. Yeah.
By the way, though, this right here is a testament to like follow up. This is what follow up looks like. Like some of you are like, oh, I just couldn't do that. Lindsay's like, dude, we need this done. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
If she was a dog, she'd be a pit bull. Did it come via email to me? Because I have no mobile notary. I've been waiting. So send it to me. Put
him in a group chat with Lily.
And while people are asking questions, I'll do the live
signing of the contract.
Signing with a notary. It's interesting. I was down in Moab with family literally 2-3 weeks ago and had a notary come in and sign one of our bigger deals here. It was kind of fun having a notary come to the hotel and sign up. So,
well, we'll leave you up here, Lindsay, while we're getting everything situated so you can make sure it happens. Well, what I'm going to do while we're getting the other questions, I just want to highlight what Noah said right over here. Noah said, I've been door knocking 100 plus doors a week for the last 2 months. Very uncomfortable and never knocked a single door before. So Noah, way to go, dude.
Shout out to Noah. I love Noah. Noah's one of those guys that like shows up consistently, has been taking action.
Yeah.
I've noticed Noah's been coming over to the Think Big podcast. Like this dude from the first time he showed up in the comments till now, like the improvement has been there. He's been taking action. So shout out to people like Noah. And Noah, just out of curiosity, besides like the potential of getting a deal, getting contracts, all that fun stuff, what has it been doing for you personally, going out and knocking those 120 doors? How has that affected all areas of your life? Because what happens is the growth you experience from doing the uncomfortable things, it doesn't just stay in the realm of, well, when I'm in acquisition mode, it starts to pour over into the conversations. It starts to pour over into how you show up for your family, how you show up for your friends, how you show up for your community. This is, like I jokingly say, real estate investing, business, entrepreneurship is personal development on steroids. It will force you to do personal development.
I agree. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Noah, if you want to, you can jump up on stage with us. I know we have some other people here, but yeah, that's a good, because it shows you like, I can do hard things. Now that I can knock doors that I'd never done before, why don't I try a new skill that I'd want to learn or something I want to accomplish? That's a good point that we don't even realize how that impacts us in different areas of our lives. So Looks like Bobby's getting everything dealt with on the contract side. I want to go to another. Yeah, Lindsay's getting handled. What you got, Bobby?
I just got it, by the way, Lindsay. I've been waiting. So there's the contract right there.
I love that. And then just to circle back while he's signing the contract right now.
Did you get the memo as well? Sorry.
You're good. No, didn't
he
get
has
the
not
memo
gotten
yet.
it.
All right, that'll come soon. So
right.
I want to highlight one thing about Noah, and this is something talking about the $0 to $25,000 in less than 100 days. There you go. He's signing it. There we go. When you're knocking those doors, guys, go back to them. So let's talk about what Beth did. Beth continued 3 times a day. She's trying to reach out to this homeowner. Nobody else is doing what Beth did to end up with setting the appointment. I went over. Lindsay got it under contract. Lindsay, did I put it under contract? No, that was you. Okay. So it's a team effort, but it comes from being relentless in your follow-up. So Noah, I don't know where you are in your KPIs and where you're at on everything while we wait for you to reply or jump up on stage with us, but make sure you're don't just go to a door one time. Go hit it a few times. You need to stay top of mind. That's really important. Okay. Let's pick on. Wait, did you get the memo? Oh, it'll come eventually, right, Lindsay?
Is this the live notary?
Oh yeah, you might have to hop off, Bobby, and come back in.
No, I got phone going.
Okay, cool.
And also Lindsay, Carl, we need to close on that one too. It's so fun doing deals remotely. It's actually kind of cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, we have a few deals in Atlanta. If anybody wants to buy any of our deals, I see Justin Coble was on here for a little bit.
We have 3 in Atlanta. We already sold one, so we got 3 more, and we're doing a lot more marketing in Atlanta as well.
There we go. All right. Well, I'm going to keep the questions rolling while we get everything signed. Just so you guys know, we're doing deals on here too. So Freddie, what's up, dog? I see. Oh, Lindsay's like, I'm leaving the stage. Freddie, I got you back up here. What's your question? How can we help you?
What's up, guys? Good to see
Hi,
you
Freddie.
again.
What up, Freddie?
I miss you guys a little bit long, man.
Yeah.
Been a minute.
What happened?
Just been a minute. What's going on, dude?
Oh, hold on a second.
He lost his audio.
Freddie's looking really tan, though. He's looking really tan.
I wish I had that melanin. So
there it is. I had the playing on the backside too. Yeah, I just got back from Hawaii, man. I'm so jet lagged right now. I feel so weird. Dude, I just lost it. I forgot. Oh, that's what I was going to ask, Caroline.
Aloha.
That question.
Aloha.
I've been to Hawaii once. Yes.
Yeah, no, we got there. My wife got sick 5 days, and then we just had to make things work. And then I got laid over. I got bumped off twice, so I finally just got in. But gone for 2 weeks and back. And I know the last time we spoke, I was transitioning into doing the pre-foreclosure and kind of stepping away from the agent outreach.
Okay.
I didn't realize how much of a struggle that would be. I got lost in the sauce with I tried to keep up with the classes or the Zoom Vault as I was gone. And man, 2 weeks of not doing this, I'm still brand new. But the thing I wanted to ask you guys is that because I'm here in Washington State and I've been pulling the list and I've been doing my reach here, and I think his name is Adrian, the agent that was on Newbie.
The Zoom, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to see if it would be what's you guys' opinion on.
I'm gonna hand it over to the Peggy Whisperer.
Okay. I would say, because you're having some hard times right now, just totally give up, quit real estate, pour it all. Let's go back, get a regular job. Of course, no.
Okay, yeah.
You've been off. You took some time off. There's going to be lulls in the business because you stopped. You stopped priming the pump, right? You were at the well. You were pumping. You were priming everything. And then you stopped. And now when you're coming back to pump again, you're like, where's the water? Well, you let all that pressure release. You let all that pressure go back down. And so now you're back in that season of I've got to pump all over again. And this is what happens if we ever stop. If Caroline were to stop right now, went on vacation for a month and then came back, guess what? She would have to do the exact same thing. She would lose all the momentum.
I was just about to say, you need to go with momentum.
Yeah. Momentum is your best friend. And I've experienced losing momentum in the past. That's why I'm so adamant on telling people, don't ever let it stop again. I will say no, because I'm not letting people screw with my momentum ever again. I'm not going to let myself ever screw with my momentum ever again. Because once it stops, it is painful to go back and rebuild. It is painful because There's no shortcut through that part. There is none. The shortcut does not exist. The shortcut is start earlier, stay at it longer. That's the shortcut.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, I wanted to dig in because I asked you to be the Peggy Whisperer. You've been gone for 2 weeks. You're on vacation. Guys, you don't really need to be in the Zoom vaults. You don't need to go and consume a ton of stuff. So I saw you printed off my little script I give you. So for everybody who's new on here, you message me. There you go. I give you scripts and everything. Just message me the word data by itself on Instagram. I'll send you all that. You print that off. That's great. There's instructional things, but here, Beth, I wish you would hop on, or I want to just highlight, like, the most successful people that we see are the ones who fully immerse themselves in the activity. So if you're trying to do anything, you can't just watch. You have to go do it. So here's my question for you, Freddie. How many not even going to ask calls. How many conversations have you had with homeowners who are struggling with their mortgage right now?
0 today.
Not even just today, in total, all time. Beth, I'm going to put the link in the side chat for you. So guys, if you're on YouTube, you can jump up on that link. How many conversations since you started this, talking to homeowners that are struggling, today have you had with homeowners and pre-foreclosure?
Oh, shoots. I've on the pre-foreclosure side, only 4.
Yep. Only 4. Okay. So, I mean, there's Hormozy. We've seen the Hormozy video where he's talked about the flyers he put out.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So basically, and I'm going to fudge the numbers. I'm not going to remember them specifically, but when Alex was still building his gyms, he had paid for different mentors, and they were telling him, like, hey, in order to get people in your gym, you got to go out and market. You got to advertise. And he's like, all right, well, what are you doing? The guy says, well, what we do is we put out flyers, and the flyers will attract people in. So Alex was like, all right, I'm going to go put out flyers. So he goes, he prints out 300 flyers. He's a young guy. Saturday morning, he goes out by the mall, and he's just like going and putting flyers on everybody's windshields on their cars. So he puts out all 300, spends all morning doing this. And then he goes back home and he just sits.
I'm going to wait.
I'm going to wait. Like, and they're going to call, and like the gym will be flooded. And so what happens is he's waiting. Nothing. And finally the phone rings. And when the phone rings, he answers like, hey, and it goes, are you Alex? He's like, yeah. He goes, you put this stupid flyer on my car, my brand new Mercedes. And like, the sun melted it into my car. What the hell's wrong with you? And so he like hangs up. And so he goes back to the mentor. He's like, dude, you told me to go out and put out flyers, and I put out flyers and it's not working. Like, literally got no customer. And so the mentor says, well, that's weird. How many flyers did you put out? He goes, 300. He's like, oh, okay. So you did like a sample size of 300. Well, how many samples did you do? He's like, no. 300's all I did. And the mentor goes, dude, we start a sample of 3,000 per day for 5 days before we start to see what's actually working. And then once we discover what works, we then bump it up to 15,000 per day. So your little 300 is literally not even a drop in the bucket. And so it feels like you thought you were doing a lot, but he had to reframe, like, dude, this is actually what work looks like, right? You think 10 calls is a lot. It's like, no, dude, like the people you're going up against are doing 1,000 calls a day.
So I appreciate you bringing that up. So Freddie, you're not starting over from zero. You don't need to go watch a bunch of videos. You really don't even need a script. You heard me do a role. I even had Chino do a role play with me. All you guys need to do is go find somebody. And let's talk about the one that Beth had. Beth reached out to this lady. She answered the phone one time, set up a call for later in the day, did not call her back, continuously followed up. 2 days before the auction, we finally got back on the phone with that homeowner. She'd spoken to her 2 weeks ago. So it comes into consistent outreach, lots of follow-up. And I would really say the most important number you guys can track is your conversations. If calls are great, but it's conversations at the end of the day. Yep. You need to have more conversations. So Freddie, it seems like you might either we have bad internet or you do, but I would say you need to just pick up the phone and dial. And she know, for everybody on here, she knows first language is not English, it's Japanese. So she's got an accent. She even said on the Zoom today, she's like, I don't like doing cold calls or calling because I struggle on the phone. I don't feel confident on the phone. I feel much better in person. So she'd rather door knock. She has a higher conversion rate by door knocking and talking to homeowners and relating to them. Like, hey, I understand what you're going through. My dad lost his job. We were losing our home. I know you're overwhelmed. I've been there. You just relate to them on a human level. And you know how we do it, Freddie. We give them a ton of resources. We help them out with their utilities. We help more homeowners stay in their home than we buy properties. And that's the way that I want to run my business. But you have to go out and you have to have the conversation. So your sample size is too small right now. So I'm going to give you homework, Freddie. You already have my script. You already have my little role play video. I want you to go have 3 conversations with homeowners today that are in pre-foreclosure. That's it. Just go have 3 conversations with homeowners that are in pre-foreclosure. And it can start out like this. Hey, I'm looking for Freddie. My name's Caroline. I noticed, and once you get them to respond, you build some rapport. Sheena did a great job. She brought up my shirt with my dog on it.
Yeah.
Build some rapport with them. I would knock doors. I think that'd be a really good use of your time. And then I would just say, I noticed it looks like the mortgage company's been giving you guys some grief. I can help with that. What would you like to do? And just have a conversation from there. I understand what you're going through. My team, and you can use me as your team. My team helps families like this every week. So that's your goal. Go have, you know what? I'm going to lower it. Go have 2 conversations today with homeowners in pre-foreclosure and message me or come back and tell us about it next week.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, the agent outreach stuff, so I figured I could do both at the same time.
No, you can't.
So
No, you can't. Stop. You can. You know what? That's a lie. You can do both. It's just not going to produce anything for you.
Yeah.
that's exactly what, because I did, like I said, I was pulling the pre-foreclosures for my location, right? I figured, okay, I'm here. I can go do the door knock. I think I do better in person. Like this whole deal on camera and stuff on the phone, it's so weird to me. But in person, it's natural, I think. But the agent outreach to build that pipeline from there seemed to be like a really good strategy going in. And then as soon as I went into, okay, now I got to work at it. I want to be able to do stuff.
You're talking to the wrong person if you're talking to the agent. You're literally talking to the wrong person. It's kind of like Freddie. Imagine I said like, hey, I'm really trying to get a date this weekend. And so I'm going to go and talk to every guy out there. And like, I clearly, I want to go date a girl, but like, I'm just going to go talk to every guy. It's like, you're gonna be like, well, Marlon, how are you supposed to get a date then? Right? Because like, I'm literally talking to the wrong person. It's like,
yeah.
You got to go directly to the homeowner. That script
that's for the
built
pre-foreclosure,
for the homeowner. Right? Yep. So
exactly.
Get agents. It's like, it's pick one. Either you're going to do all agents and you're not doing pre-foreclosure, in which case stop coming to these calls, stop listening to Caroline because she's only going to talk about agents, or about homeowners.
Yep.
Or you're going to go all in on the homeowners, forget the agents for a while, and just strictly dial in on the thing that's actually working inside of here.
Right. Gotcha.
Go have 2 conversations and come back. You've seen the role plays. You know what needs to happen. We're overthinking it too much. No more. You can do the agents or you can do the homeowners directly. If you pick one, I'll see you here next week. Okay.
Later, Freddie.
Newbies later, man.
Yeah. I'm not going to let him have it. Freddie, I was taking you off so you couldn't ask any more questions. We're not deviating anymore. Noah, you're on here. I see you're about to drive away.
What up, big dog?
What's going on?
What's going on, guys?
How's it going, man?
It's going good. This week's been kind of tough. I got filmed for the first time this week. The homeowner came out and was like, "How'd you get my info?" And he was recording me on his phone. So that was interesting so far this week. But kind of like Marlon said, just trying to stay consistent with it and just let it do what it needs to do because the work, like Alex says this too, the work works on you more than you work on it at the end of the day. So doing those repetitive actions, doing the boring work, especially outside in the Arizona heat, not many people are going to be doing it this summer, and they're going to want to stay inside and make their calls and won't get face to face. So just trying to stay consistent with it. And then trying to remember, I think you were talking about KPIs earlier. So I'm a part of a small team in Gilbert here. And so they track all my KPIs and whatnot. So the toughest one is definitely the open rate, because you have to go back multiple times to be able to actually catch them. So I'd say that's the hardest part about it, is actually talking to someone who's on the title.
Mm-hmm. So for everybody, a KPI that so just clarify for us, Noah, you're making sure that they open the door and they have a conversation with you, and you want it to be a decision maker whose name is on the deed.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a good one that we just talked about. It. Conversations are huge, but you want to be able to talk to a decision maker. You don't want to if you come to our house, you don't want to talk to me. I'm not going to do anything for you. I don't own the home. So that's not the best use of your time. Go ahead.
I was also going to say, Sometimes I do own the home, and when people come to the house, I tell them I'm the tenant all the time because I don't feel like having the conversation. So also like, just find out if you end up finding out they have the same name, they might just be lying to you. So just make sure confirm that you are talking to the decision maker.
Yeah.
Or I've gotten from renters. I'm like, hey, can you give me the homeowner's phone number? This is very urgent. The property, it looks like the bank is trying to accelerate the auction, and it looks like the home could be lost. I mean, as soon as tomorrow. I'd make something up just to see if they can give you the homeowner's phone number. Okay, I'm done.
That's a good one. Noah, what are the other KPIs that you're tracking for yourself or your team is?
Yeah, so we're tracking doors per day, doors per week, and then the open rate on the doors, and then qualified conversations, and then appointments set, and then appointments set, and then like deals closed.
Those are good KPIs to track. What would be an appointment set? How do you make it an appointment? What's an appointment?
So an appointment would be essentially me setting up a day and time for my boss to come out and run through the whole appointment with them and go over all those options. So that would be kind of what the appointment would be. So I'm just setting those up and getting them on the phone to make sure we can get out there and sit down with them.
Those are good KPIs to track. Now, the original reason we brought you up here is because, and for everybody, I just wanted to reiterate that so you guys can see what Noah's doing, having success with. Marlon, you asked him from knocking all those doors, how's that impacted him in other areas of his life? Did I miss any other part of that question?
So basically, you've been going out, you've been knocking the doors, you've been doing the uncomfortable thing. You even said it, the work works on you more than you work on it. Outside of the real estate, right? Like, have you started to see, and I'm just curious, maybe the answer is yes, maybe it's no. Have you seen any residual benefit outside of just business now that's come as a result of you going and doing the uncomfortable thing of door knocking?
Sorry, you guys froze there for a second, so I didn't hear what you said.
Basically, from you going out and door knocking, have you started to see any residual benefit outside of business, just like in your personal life, that has come as a result of you doing the uncomfortable thing?
I'd say the biggest one is like mindset for sure. Like getting that rejection day in, day out, knocking 30 plus doors a day, and just that constant rejection helps build up that grit and resilience because those are skill sets and not a lot of people do the right things to work on those skill sets. So I think that's like the biggest thing that I've seen um, affect me personally outside of just real estate and getting deals. And also like following a good workout program, that obviously helps so much, like staying dialed in there. So just trying to stay dialed in mentally and physically, and even on the bad days, like lean on my support system a little bit more that day, and just kind of do some reflecting and grow closer to God and do what I need to do and just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I love that. And the fact that, by the way, and hopefully everyone picked up on the fact that, Noah, you just said grit and resilience are skill sets. Most people would categorize that as a characteristic, or like, oh yeah, like that person's gritty, that person's resilient. You're like, no, that's something you can build. You're just being lazy if you don't go out and build it. You're just not giving yourself the opportunity to go out there and do it through discomfort. So I love that, Noah.
Those are great.
Exactly.
Noah, thanks for hopping on. It looks like you're door knocking right now.
Yeah, I'm about to go head out for the day, go hit some doors.
Love it,
Dude,
dude.
make it happen.
Good luck, man.
Oh yeah, good to talk to you guys. Have a good day.
See
Peace
ya.
out, bro.
I wanted to highlight, so I see we have Kathleen in the background and Beth as well. I want to just pick on one quick question here. Jared just said, hey, Caroline, do you know what step of the foreclosure process Chino starts contacting people at? Example is the initial foreclosure complaint, or before that, like 30, 60, 90 day lists, etc. So yeah, I would say I do know because I told Chino what to hit it. So I recommend you go at them as soon as you possibly can. If you can hit them as soon as the lead comes out, speed to lead is imperative. It helps you a ton. But then it's really follow up. So I'm going to lead this into bringing Beth on stage because, oh no, wait, where are you, Beth?
There we go.
Boom. Beth, hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys? Hi, Marlon.
What's up, Beth?
Beth, how much experience do you have in homeowners that are in pre-foreclosure and helping them? Years, right?
Years. Yeah, years. Like, I think no, maybe a little bit longer. 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Okay. So, Beth, we just helped out Jennifer. So out of the people that you've helped, does it matter when you're reaching out to them or the people you're contacting?
I don't know. It's all about the consistency. It doesn't matter. Some people will be like, I have to call at 8 o'clock in the morning that, before anyone gets on the phone, or with expires or foreclosures. And they'll be like, I'll call them at lunch. Everyone has their own mindset in their head, what time's a good time. But you really honestly have to call them twice a day at least. Don't do it stalkerish, like be very, graceful about it, but call them twice when it gets closer to the auction. I just, do it in the
Increase the
morning.
frequency. Yep.
And it is really uncomfortable. That is probably, I was talking about it with Lisa today, and I was going to ask Creighton this question just because that is the most uncomfortable part of trying to get someone to set an appointment with you. They say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then they're like, call me back. And they keep ghosting you. You're like, I feel uncomfortable. I'm calling them like 5 times.
Yep.
But they need the help. And that's something that I need to work on. But I did do it for this person and it worked. And I used third-party stories and I really, really caked them on with her. And I've been doing that for the past week. And it's actually been helping me with my appointments. Not to say we're gonna get deals out of every one of them, but definitely moves the ball down the field and gives you a little more confidence to do it again and again and add what you're learning in the daily dials.
Okay, you would say something.
Yeah, well, is that a vibe board you got in the background?
What? No. It's
No, the behind you, the other side. Is that like
on your wall over there?
Yeah.
That's Cobain right there.
No, behind the other.
Oh,
This is like 12 something. That's sort of screen change.
Oh, it's an art exhibit in LA.
Cool.
The Campbell suit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But check it out. The
You've got ADD too.
Yeah, I noticed things. I feel like Bobby's in Holland with the bike behind him up there. But the fact that you just said it, right? Because it's uncomfortable to make those calls over and over and over. I felt the exact same way when I was first calling homeowners. It did just change. You see, I felt the same way when I'm calling homeowners. Like, man, I'm bothering these people. Like they have to hate my guts. Like I called them 5 times today. And then you got to remind yourself, this person has pain and I have the cure. I have the solution. I have the antidote. Yeah, they might be pissed off that I'm calling their phone, but what do you think is going to make them more angry? To find out that I had the cure and I stopped after 1 phone call and I didn't solve their problem? Like that would actually make them so much more angry. Like, dude, you could have helped and you stopped. And so now when homeowners, because sometimes it happens where they'll pick up the phone and they'll say, why are you calling me so much? It's so freaking annoying. Beth, leave me alone. And you can say to them, listen, I understand you're upset right now and I get it. But in the past, when I first got started doing this, somebody told me that I was annoying them and I let them alone. And they said they had it all handled. And then what happened was a week later, that property was lost to the auction. That person ended up homeless. And after that, and the worst part, here's the worst part. The worst part is I could have solved that problem. I could have saved that home. I could have helped that homeowner. But I let myself feel uncomfortable. And because I was uncomfortable and because I was scared, I backed off from giving the help that I could provide. So ever since then, I have promised myself that I would not stop until I have solved the problem, until I have helped. And so, yes, I'm sure you're getting annoyed with these phone calls, but I'm here to help. Because the last time we spoke, and that I have never had a homeowner, after I've said something like that to them, come back to me and still be pissed. They actually calm down, and then we realize everybody else is the enemy, and we're on the same team.
Yeah. And I honestly, you guys are all like, yeah, they will lose their house. Like, I didn't really think they would actually lose it there. Like, that was really powerful. And Melissa saw it, Lindsay, Lisa, me, Caroline. That was really powerful because it literally was she was going to lose her house in 2 hours. And then Melissa saved the day and went and took her to the courthouse. But yeah, so it was really interesting. It was a really cool transaction.
Isn't it crazy though? Like I had that same feeling, Beth, when I did my very first deal. I remembered like sitting there after the fact thinking like, holy crap, this dude's problem was solved because of me. Like this random 26-year-old kid in my mom's house in my pajamas. Like if I didn't show up, this house, my first deal was a pre-foreclosure deal. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't a pre-foreclosure deal. That guy was actually paying his mortgage, but like he would have kept bleeding if it weren't for me showing up and making those phone calls and taking the action and getting other people involved and just going out and doing imperfect things.
Yeah, it was really surreal.
Yeah.
Bobby, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah. Thanks, Beth. You're my lucky charm. So I was trying to scan. It took me only 13 times to scan my government ID while I'm sitting here in this VRBO in Moab getting ready to go biking. But as soon as she came on, it actually accepted. Just did a mobile notary, by the way, over my phone, just signed the memorandum, and there's another deal. So it's kind of cool that we can do this remotely wherever we are, pursuing our passions with a team that's helping. With Lindsay, she's a former policeman, basically harassing me. And I did file a complaint and a restraining order, but she does such a good job at what she does. And I'm grateful that she could come on publicly and hold me accountable to that. But technically, I didn't receive the document. So I just got it. And as soon as Beth jumped on, it's signed and ready to go. And this is the first of many. And the possibilities, yeah. No, thank you, Lindsay. You owe me lunch. But the possibilities are a lot of fun. And you talked about helping these families. Caroline shared a story last week, a visual she shared a couple of times of her mom feeling like she's drowning. And we kind of chatted offline. And I said, if we saw somebody physically drowning in the deep end of the pool, would we walk by and be like, I'm going to mind my own business. It looks like they've got their own thing going. That mother and the babies, they're kind of going underwater. That's their deal. We would never do that. We would throw them, a life raft. We'd throw them a rope. We would jump in to save them. And that's kind of what we are doing in a sense. And sometimes there are some people that don't want to help themselves. We have seen, properties go through foreclosure, they lose everything. The sheriff shows up, and that's the hardest thing to see. So our goal, we've got about 165 5-star reviews on the website that we've got, and you don't get that by taking advantage. This business lends itself to a lot of slimy individuals and a lot of competition with other individuals that do not have the homeowner's best interests at heart. So you can approach this business with integrity. You can approach it with a helping mindset, and you can also make a living. And I think we're walking examples of that. We're all doing that. And so we appreciate everybody's part that they do. And sometimes it's the caller, you're teeing up the deal, and there's the closer, but everybody collectively has a part of this process. And that's the fun of what we do.
Yeah, it's really good. Beth, I don't want to make you be stuck up here. It looks like you're enjoying an art gallery, but I wanted to say kudos to you. What you said about 6 weeks now, she's been calling, and how much have you come back? Like, you're doing the iterations. You're coming in, you're asking us questions like, ugh, I feel kind of slimy calling all the time. One of my first deals I ever did when I did it was the No Excuses program. It was a lady who was in pre-foreclosure as well. And the reason why I followed up with her so many times, I called her from the CRM. She would not reply. I finally used my personal cell phone. This is what I love to do. I sent her a little GIF. She replied back to me, and then I connected with her. I understand you're overwhelmed. I know this is going on. She had already left the home. She had left the home and abandoned it. There was mold. It was in Florida. There was mold in between. It was going to cost her too much money. She's like, it's a lost cause. I'm like, we can still buy it and give you something rather than nothing. So you feel like you're being annoying and you're bothering them, you're not. We do have that cure. Reach out to them, especially when that auction is still looming. We can prevent them from having a foreclosure on their record. We can get them breathing room. Actually, there was a question earlier. I think somebody was asking about elderly people. And I also stopped an auction on Monday that Cindy brought to us. I don't even know where it is. There was about how do we help people with a assisted living or something along the lines. And it is possible. Yeah, we have the plug for it, but we have a lady right now. We got her in. She had no electricity. She'd been living in a home, 73, no electricity. We got her with a social worker now. Right now, we currently have her in a motel. We're covering that bill right now, getting her in a motel while we're getting a social worker that's going to find her somewhere to live. But I just want to say, Beth, before I let you go, great job. Super proud of you. Let's get the next one. Let's keep the momentum going.
Yep.
Thanks,
Definitely.
Beth. Good meeting you virtually.
It's always so nice to see all of you guys. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. Really, honestly.
Good to be working with you. It's interesting. So Caroline just mentioned something that I would offer to this entire group. I just connected with somebody local. They're in Utah, and her whole business model for her organization that works in most states is transitioning elderlies into assisted living, working with the families, paperwork. if you have a scenario like that, let us know and we can help you out. Now, they don't necessarily deal with the pre-foreclosure. We're one added measure or one added layer of complexity. But she said, yeah, we don't usually see that. We see the home owners, the children selling the home and then transitioning over. I'm like, oh boy, we see all the time an elderly man or woman losing the home. And this is an amazing thing that they can help transition them in. We can prepay for some of those services and help them, even the moving of furniture. I said, how much is all this? I thought it was going to be a fortune. She's like, even a couple $100 to move their furniture. We bring their dresser, their chair into the assisted living home. So that is a resource that we will make available to everybody on this call. So
yeah, if you have a homeowner that's transitioning. Oh, you got to go, Bobby?
I got a dip. I've got 4 guys waiting for me to go biking, and another 3 are showing up tonight, and another one the next day. So, but appreciate what you guys do, Marlon, Caroline. This is a lot of fun. We're I feel making a difference in people's lives. And if you want to put my Instagram up there after I leave, people can jump on and follow us. I'm new to social media, not a fan, but I'm doing it based on Marlon and Caroline, and it's been good. A lot of people are saying, hey, thank you for, walking through that scenario. I didn't think about that angle of, this particular way to do a deal. So the goal is to take a lot of what's up here in pre-foreclosure knowledge. I'm rewriting my pre-foreclosure book that we'll post and give everyone for free once I finish that. But a lot of information we're trying to share so that you can go out and do this on your own and help families.
Hey, Bobby, thanks for jumping on here. It was a special treat. I said, hey, Marlon, I don't think Bobby's going to make it today. Would you like to jump in here? And we were so grateful to see you eating again.
I know. Well, now I eat, now I get to go ride. So
Yeah.
Love you guys both.
Later, Bobby.
Appreciate it.
Fun.
See ya. Bye-bye.
I want to go through a few more things. I know I'm going to get out of the podcast studio so you can use it here in a moment. I'll get you off the stage, Bobby, so you're free. But I wanted to highlight one thing about Noah. I don't even know if he's still watching. Where'd he go? He said, we were just talking about how you might feel like you're bothering somebody. He said, I feel the same way knocking on the same door 8 to 10 times. So I want to reiterate this, guys. You should be tracking your conversations. I love that he said the open rate when you're actually getting a hold of someone, but you've got to go back. It's relentless follow-up, and it's boring and it's mundane. But can you throw your arm up here one more time? Is this, what do you do? Hey, tell them what you do every day when you wake up.
I roll out of bed and push-ups. I do push-ups, sit-ups, squats. I get the body flowing. I get the blood flowing. It's repetition. I have never been naturally. There's been very few things I've ever been naturally like talented at. But most everything has come in my life as a form of just repetition, doing it over and over and over. And when I was lucky, I was young. I was a skateboarder, and that sport I think crafted my entire mentality. Because if any of you have ever skateboarded, you understand it is trial and error. It is like when you're learning how to ollie, it's try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. And you repeat that process for about 1,000 iterations before you finally get the board to pop up in the air. And you're like, oh my gosh, I ollied. And then it's another 200 reps of try, fail before you get ollie number 2. And you just keep doing it over and over. But suddenly you start to see your body begins to transform. You start to gain confidence. You start to know, I can ollie up things. I can ollie down things. I can ollie in the rain. I can ollie in the sun. I can ollie in the dark. And you start to have confidence, but it comes from repetition.
Noah said, don't make me flex with you, Marlon.
Yeah, let's go. No, we got to go get a workout in, bro.
But the reason I bring it up is because like you do the workout every day and you're doing it relentlessly. So like if you want to have like you guys Marlon's a very humble man, but he looks like an action figure under his shirt. You don't do that from like eating cakes and cookies and not moving. Like I sometimes I see you and you're like, God, I have to move my body again. I need like, and we feel better from those endorphins. So whatever goal you're trying to accomplish, you have to go put in the work and you have to knock the door 8 to 10 times because you are helping these homeowners. And that's the difference between us. You have to pick up the phone. You've got to text them. You've got to call them. So I really like that. But
and yeah, guys. And like the big thing here is like, let me dispel all the magic for you right now. Like I'm probably going to crush some bubbles. It will get boring. I don't care. Like you're looking at Caroline, you're looking at me. We get on these podcasts, we get on social media, and we show excitement. We are enthused. We understand you have to be engaging for people to want to watch you. But the reality is, if you shadowed us day to day, there are going to be times where you're like, wow, these people are boring. This looks sucks. Like it looks miserable because we understand like you've got this highs and lows. And if you're not willing to go through the low, then you don't get the high. It's okay, but just understand that.
Well, I always say this. We always say the kind of same stories together. But I remember when I first moved in here, our rooms, he lives on one side of the house and I live literally, what was our rooms are 10 feet apart. And I would go by and be like, Marlon, how's it going? Like, oh my gosh, it's a good day to be alive. And I'm looking at him and he was miserable. Like you've not been like that since. Super stressed out. How many flips were you managing at that time?
We had 5 flips going at the time, or six flips.
6 flips. And he's like, yeah, I just made $500,000 from my flips. And I'm like, and you were the saddest, most depressed, most like, he was not the man you see before you right now. And you were just miserable. And I'm like, dang, what happened to the fun, bubbly Marlon I knew before? But there's seasons.
Yeah, during that season is where Caroline the other day was like, wow, you're getting a lot of gray hairs. I'm like, oh, remember when we moved in? Like
we had none.
That's this side of gray hairs. And then the events over the last month have been this side of gray hairs. So yeah.
But it does come back into like, I see you. And guys, I talk about the high performance planner. Marlon's the one who brought that up. I love that you've kept this up here. A high performance planner. This is a planner that we use. I think the camera's mirrored, but great stuff. Just doing the boring, mundane things. You track your finances. Like living with Marlon, living with somebody in my campfire that's different from me helps elevate me. I think we both complement each other. We're so great together.
When she said different from me, I'm like, yeah, I am black.
Give me some of that melanin, please. Every time we go somewhere, he never has to put on sunscreen. Remember we're in Sedona? So I put on sunscreen. I don't want to get skin cancer. And I was like, I'm putting it on my face. Like, just don't let me get it in my eyes.
Dude, she said, don't let me get it in my eyes. And I look over at her and she's got a glob of sunscreen like this big sitting right next to her eye. And I'm like, you're trying to not put this in your eye? Like I couldn't stop laughing.
We have fun together. Anyways, we complement each other really well. And it's the campfire. And Marlon's introduced me to like Jonathan, who's not here. I love that you introduced Jonathan into our household. You got Ben into the house. Like we get to meet really cool people and people we would not meet otherwise. Like we have a hard time making friends, obviously, but even just our homies, we have a bunch of Indian friends that are in their 60s that we know from pickleball, and we go play game night with them and we get a different perspective. And it's just like, guys, we'd love to hang out with you. We want you guys to be able to meet us and do things with us. We traveled all last year. I don't know if we're going to do a road trip in the RV again anytime soon, but last year we had to stop everywhere. But find a campfire, find people who are different from you so you guys can help one another. That's a really big thing. But it comes back down to like, you have reminded me, it's the boring, mundane things. We're ADD. We got off on a tangent there. But coming back into what Noah said, and Beth, just do it. You know, especially homeowners that are in pre-foreclosure, if we don't help them, they are going to lose their home. And it would be like this lady is walking away with a lot of money, which she probably would not have if it had gone to foreclosure auction. We're stopping. We're giving her more time in the home. We're helping her find somewhere to live. Like there's so many other things that we can do. So there's a lot of resources you can provide to these homeowners, which is incredible. But I want to get to, I see we have Kathleen and Christy. I'm going to bring Kathleen up really quickly. We're going to answer your question. And I think we might wrap up after that if that's everybody. So Kathleen, how's it going? How can we help you?
Good. Hey, I had an appointment this morning with a homeowner, and I've been able to help her in other ways. Now I got to the financial part, and she basically said that this is actually, I'll just tell you kind of the backstory. She had people living in her house that were renting a room out of her house, and then they got into her mail and took all the mortgage statements and got into her mail and stuff like that. And then she didn't ever get a mortgage statement, and she's caring for her husband who has third stage of dementia, and her daughter who has mental illness and a few other diseases too. And they're on a fixed income and whatever else. And I asked her, I said, how much, how far back are you? And she said, well, I owe $9,000. I mean, that's better than some I've heard, and I said, do you have anyone? She said, no. So I'm going through the whole thing. Now we're to the point where, because she's 7.5 months behind on her mortgage. And so I'm to the point to where I've already given her and her family resources, but I need to know, we need to call the bank.
Yes, you need to do that soon.
That needs to be done.
Yeah. And so my question is to you more like, okay, I know we have to get a mortgage reinstatement and stuff like that, but what do you say to the bank? Because this is new.
Great
to
question.
me. I am not afraid to talk to people. That's not my issue. It's just more of what do I say on
Mhm.
the bank?
Okay, so what do we say to the bank? So guys, this is really important. So Kathleen, when is her auction date right now?
I don't even know that. I asked her that. She says she doesn't know.
Okay, so one, I know, I don't think you're using my data, so I don't know where it is, but one, pull the property up. You can just put the property into Zillow and it should tell you that it's got a foreclosure or it says it's in pre-foreclosure. Sometimes Zillow even has a button to take you to the auction house. So it might be on auction.com. It might be a different one. Go see there if they have an auction date. If she does have a mortgage document somewhere, hop on the phone with her. Probably better if you go over there in person. It sounds like she's got a lot on her plate. Call the bank and just get a hold of the loss mitigation department. Okay. Loss mitigation. You're like, hey, I'm helping out the homeowner here. We want to know when the auction date is. And we wanted to, this is a hardship that has happened. Why were they not able to pay?
I don't think she even knows now that she's behind their fixed income.
Well, hang on. Why did they fall behind on their payments? What caused them to not pay?
That's what she was saying, that she didn't know they were taking her mail. She had no idea.
Was she making automatic payments? How does we all know we have a mortgage payment.
She's older than I am. I would say she was probably doing the snail mail thing, or I don't know how she was doing it, but I can ask her.
Yeah, go ahead, Marlon. You were going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, you want to find out how they got into that situation, regardless of what's going on. Even if she was doing the snail mail, right? Like if you're mailing in your mortgage every month and then, oh, well, the mortgage didn't come in the mail this month, so I guess the mortgage isn't owed anymore. Like there's something there.
I agree with you, but without trying to say rude, there are some people in this community that just don't think of that. And I don't know how else nicer to say it.
Okay, well, I would look into that. You probably need to dig a little bit more because remember, Marlon just said if people come to the house, like, can I speak to the owner of the house? He's like, I do not know that man. Right. I'm a renter. So
buyers are liars.
Sellers are worse. So, but that's okay. So just ask her again. Sometimes we ask the same question 3 or 4 times in a different way. Hey, I forgot, Kathleen, go over there. I'm like, catch me up to speed. I can't remember how did we fall behind on the payments again? Well, somebody was opening my mail. Well, Kathleen, do you usually pay your mortgage every month?
I pay.
Okay, exactly. But actually I do. Okay. So instead of paying my mortgage, I just figured I could get the COVID relief plan and I started gambling on crypto, whatever it could be.
Wow.
But just ask that, get on the phone with the bank. But the main thing is you need to get on the phone with the bank immediately. When is our auction date? What can we do? Can we do a forbearance? Can we do a loan modification? I'm assuming they do not have $9,000 to catch this up.
I'm sorry. Yeah, she needs $9,000 to catch up. So
I'm guessing she doesn't have it.
No, because she's her
fixed income.
Yeah.
So
fixed
no
income,
401k, no retirement plan, nothing like that.
I don't think so. That's the case. And her daughter lives with her. Like I said, she's not well. We'll just put not well there, and then we'll just her son. She babysits her grandkids, and she's like, I don't have enough money. They're always eating my food. I'm like, well, you need to start setting some boundaries.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's true. But the main thing, you need to get a hold of the bank immediately. Guys, the longer you wait, the less equity they're going to have. It's going to be eaten up by fees. Yep. So I would go over to the house. Like if I can help you with.
Carolyn, I can't drive. I don't drive. The only time I can go do knocking doors is if somebody drives me to the doors.
Gotcha. And that's so how did you get a hold of her?
Yeah, well, I have her phone number.
Okay, well then call her and I would get a 3-way. Say, hey, send me a picture of your most recent mortgage statement. Then you can see the phone number of the bank you need to call. You can just have her send you that phone number. Call them, 3-way her in, get a hold of the loss mitigation department, and then find out what needs to happen from there. And we'll help you out. You can how to message me, Kathleen. You're on a lot of the Zooms that I do. Message. Yeah. Let's go talk to them and see what we can do. If there's some kind of relief for the hardship they're dealing with, everything. But first we need to figure out when the auction date is and what options are available to them. But I don't know enough information right now.
I don't know either, but she couldn't tell me anymore. So yeah.
All right. Well, Kathleen, thank you for bringing that us. Message me. Let's figure out what we can do with that. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Good seeing you. All right. I see Christy's the last one. Christy, I don't see a camera, so we're going to try and see if we can hear you. Are you there, Christy? You have to hit unmute so we can hear you. And if Christy doesn't answer anything, I'll look once over. There we go. I'm going to mute you really quickly, Christy. I think you also have your YouTube window open. I'm going to mute you again. So close your YouTube window out because it's going to feed through both of these. or your speaker's really loud.
No, I
Okay.
think probably YouTube.
It's YouTube? I think her speakers are super loud. Christy, are you there?
Yeah, I think it's my speaker. YouTube is closed.
I think.
Hello?
Yeah. There's feedback. How can we help you?
No, I actually am just following everything. I'm actually at my W-2
Nice.
for work, so a daytime job. So we're just following through and setting up some goals for door knocking and pre-foreclosures right now. So
I love it. Well, Christy, thank you for coming on, guys. I'm really glad that we were able to help you just because there was some feedback. I'm going to pull her off. I don't see, except for Adrian asking, where can we get resources? So Adrian, this is my last tip for you guys. Maybe it's not. I'll probably give 2 more tips before we wrap up, but go to ChatGPT. I did this morning on a Zoom. Go to ChatGPT and say, what are other financial hardships homeowners that are failing to make their mortgage are struggling with right now? And how can I provide resources for my community? I will tell you, find out where your area is. There's so many. I just showed my team the resources we have. I think we have about 40 resources inside of our community that we give to homeowners that helps them out. So use that. I just want to make that abundantly clear. ChatGPT is your friend. It's great. Yep. You'll need, and Moises hit that on the head for Chris. Kathleen should know that, but we'll get voice authorization to talk to the bank on their behalf. Marlon, I want to give you the podcast studio. I appreciate you jumping in here. Thank you for coming in. One last step. I see we have quite a few people on this live. If somebody's overwhelmed and they haven't made any calls yet, or they feel like they need to know the pre-foreclosure process before they get started, what would you say to them?
Okay, if you're overwhelmed, and honestly, it's the same thing that like my brother did to me when I was like 7 years old. Get up on the diving board and literally you need to get shoved off into the water. Like I'm being so for real. This is what I did with Peggy yesterday when I love Peggy. Like, so if Peggy's listening, I love you, Peggy. This is why I did it to you, because I know you can handle it. While Peggy was explaining to me what her situation was, I saw the opportunity to just be like, Peggy, stop. Let's do this role play. Let's take action right now. Okay, done. Phone call's over. You don't need any more advice. Literally go make the phone calls right now. Like, so you just need, if you're in a place where you're stuck, go and get someone who's going to hold you accountable. Get someone who's willing, who loves you enough to shove you off the board, shove you off the edge.
Yeah. Pick up the phone, call the leads. That's really what it comes down to. If we take anything away from today with Sheeno, with Marlon, myself, Noah, Lindsay, Beth, you have to be consistent with your follow-up. And you are not, but like, I don't think you told the story on this one. Tell the story about the lady who thanked you for not giving up on her. The one you called you still lived at your mom's house and you called her a bunch.
The Trinidadian lady?
Maybe
no.
that was what it was.
No. There's I've had a lot of these.
Give me
conversations.
whichever one where a lady yelled at you and then she's like, "Okay, thank you. If it wasn't for you, I would have lost."
Oh, okay. You're talking Maria Salgado. All right. So Maria, when the very first time, one of the best deals, in my opinion, I think is one of the best deals I have had. This woman, my VA calls, she goes through the script, gets all the information, lines up the call for me to come back later. So this is a warm lead in my system. This woman has said, yes, let your teammate, whoever, call me back. We'll talk about the house. Awesome. So I got this lead. It's time to do my follow-up. So I call and it's like, hey, this is Marlon. I was reaching out about the properties. You talked to Jella yesterday. And she just starts ripping me apart. Like, screw you, F you. You people are just calling me nonstop, blah, this leaning into me. And what's so funny is when I made this call, I had her on speaker and I had 2 guys over at my house and I'm there to train them on how to help me and be acquisitions. And they're like looking up to me. And this is literally the first phone call they're ever watching me take. And I'm just getting yelled at. And so boop, phone call ends and they're looking at me like, is that what always happens? And I'm like, well, kind of. And they're like, so now what? I was like, what do you mean now what? Like, we keep making calls. We got other people to call. And I'm just going to put a follow-up for her so I could call her back. And they're like, well, when are you going to call her back? She just said, don't ever call again. I was like, dude, I'm calling her back tomorrow. Literally, I put a follow-up to call her back tomorrow. So fast forward, I call her back the next day. And I go, hey, this is Marlon reaching out about the properties. Totally sweet now. She's like, oh, yeah, we're interested in selling the properties. We go through the whole script, the whole conversation. I get the whole scenario to boom the bang. Now we're at the end of the call, and I am a curious person. I don't just let things go. And as we're about to wrap up the call, I could just easily end it. But I'm like, I need to know. I say, hey, Maria, you might not remember this, but yesterday I actually called you and you cursed me out. And I just need to know, like, what's going on? Is everything all right in your world? And Maria starts opening up and really telling me everything. And she starts explaining, like, hey, look, I've been getting a ton of these phone calls. The houses you're reaching out about, they're up in Wisconsin. I'm not even living there anymore. My ex-husband, he and I own the properties together, so he's managing it. My daughter, she's getting ready to go to college. My mom, she's back in Colombia, and I'm trying to take care of her. She actually just stepped out the door the other day, fell and broke her hip. So now I'm trying to figure out medical. Do we fly her back to the US? Do we get her medical help over there? My siblings aren't any help. And it's just all of this stuff is happening all at once. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it sounds like a lot. And guys, this is where a lot of people would stop. They would get all that information and you would just start making assumptions about what her problem is. It's not even her problem yet. We haven't even figured out the problem. And so I say, I continue to ask questions. I don't make statements. I ask questions. And I ask her, I say, hey, Maria, with all that's going on, it sounds like a lot just out of curiosity. And I know I'm not the first person that called you. You said a lot of people called. Why haven't you sold the properties then? It sounds like this is another thing on your plate. Why haven't you sold the property? Why do you still own these? Why am I still talking to you about it? And she says, well, because you investors, all you want to do is you just want to buy these houses and kick everybody out so you can raise the rents. And I said, well, Maria, do you want the tenants to stay? She's like, yeah, but you're not going to keep them. And I said, well, wait, hold up, Maria. I'm looking to buy properties right now to add to my portfolio, and I want to rent them out. Let me ask you a question. Are your tenants paying the rent? She said, yeah, they're all paying the rent. And I was like, so what's the deal with the tenants? She starts explaining to me that a part of her getting these houses, once she realized she was going to hold them as a landlord, she started getting people off of the streets. So she was taking homeless people, getting them off the streets, helping them apply for Section 8, and then placing them in her units. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So she's like, yeah, I don't want these people just to go back to the streets. And I said, well, Maria, if they're paying and you got Section 8 and they're covering their own portion, you know, here's the promise I'll make to you. I'll keep them in the units. I'll keep them in the house as long as they act like every other tenant, which means if they stop paying, then they will have to go. If they start creating problems, they have to go. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt of trusting you, and I'll keep them in there under these conditions. When I said that to her, do you know what the conversation was? She then looked at me and she said, well, it wasn't looked at me. She was on the phone. Caroline looked at me. But I imagine if we sat side by side, she would have looked at me. She would have gazed into my eyes.
Oh, they're so dreamy. And
she said, what do you need to pay for it? She let me name my price. I bought those properties for $180,000. The day I closed on it, that portfolio as is was worth over $400,000.
You bought it at the price she sold to you at 180. As soon as you closed on it, literally instantly
worth
you had
$400,000.
built in. That's insane.
So, and those properties are still in my portfolio. They cash flow positive. I actually wholesaled the deal to myself as well. I wholesaled it to my other company. So I made a wholesale assignment on it. I got equity. My net worth went up by over $200,000, and I'm cash flowing every single month on these properties. 10 doors. Guys, it is like, and this came from the follow-up. This came from, and by the way, she was in our system as a lead for my VA to call, right? Like when she got her on the phone before I got cussed out, she was actually, I looked back in the system and she was actually the first time she was ever even like added to the system and like called, and like she didn't answer, but the first time she was called was like months earlier. So it's a follow-up game. It's a numbers game. It's a keep showing up game. It's a take imperfect action game. It's a you never know, but I can promise you if you don't take action, nothing happens.
Man, that's incredible. So,
and by the way, Arturo says, how much did she make on the way out? Here's a beautiful thing. This deal was such a mental game shift for me as well, because some of you are worried like, yeah, but how is the seller going to make money on the deal? Well, do you guys ever think about when did the sellers buy? When she bought these units years ago, her and her husband, they paid like $20,000 and $30,000 per house. So they more than made their profit. They made cash flow all these years, plus they made a profit on the sale. And so this is something you have to also remember, that they could have bought these properties years ago where they're sitting in tons and tons and tons of equity. So it wasn't a pre-foreclosure deal, but it was still high equity, and they still made a healthy profit. I made a healthy profit, everybody wins. Win, win, win.
That's a good thought. And that's a lot of things that people don't think about. And I'm sure you probably bought it and did some updates to it. And
oh yeah, we got inside there, we updated the thing and like those units. In fact, actually, we just put a new roof on one of them like last week.
Okay. You doing that with Drew?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you get it's never about the house.
Never
There's
about
so
the
much
house.
more to it. Even just let's talk about the deal that we just did. Beth, Lindsay, everybody was involved in this. The lady told us, I'm not going to put her laundry out there, but she told us a few things that came to not be true. And there was more weighing on her and why she was overwhelmed. Guys, usually the first problem a homeowner tells you is not the real problem. So you just have to keep digging. And then you stayed in the saddle. How much follow-up was it? Or was it 3 months originally or 6?
Well, it was like several months of her being in our system. And then it was when we finally started talking, I think I started talking to her like around October or November, whichever month is closer to December. And then we closed on that deal in the end of January, like we're like mid to end January is when we like actually closed. So me, like after I started talking to her, it was probably about like 2.5 months of me just like consistently like reaching out and just continuing the conversation, checking in on her, making sure she's all right. To this day, by the way, she has no more properties left to sell me. I still follow up with her. That's also because we've talked about her becoming a private money lender for me as well. But she's invited me out to Colombia. She's invited me to come stay at her place. So she's like, whenever you're in Colombia, you can come and stay at our family's house, right? Guys, it's relationships. It's not just a one-off transaction.
That's huge. That's a really big tip. And I know there's a lot of people in here. If you've never seen Marlon before, I just wanted to highlight this. You guys can interact with him. When do you do your podcast?
I do my podcast on Tuesdays. We are consistent with Tuesday evenings at 5:00. We are at episode 131. That's the one that Sam and I do together, the Think Big podcast. And then when I'm not traveling, I do a live podcast on Mondays, the Into the Mind podcast there as well.
There you go. So this is Marlon's Instagram. This is how you guys can connect with him. If you guys are not interacting with Marlon, obviously, if you got any value from today, this is a guy you need to have in your back pocket. One of my best friends. You're a great guy. You need to know this man. He's incredible. But guys, if you got any value, I hate to end it, but we have to do other things today. So we are here every Thursday for my podcast at 12 on my lunch. And if you guys do have any questions, you need help stopping a foreclosure, message me on Instagram. You can see it's where it is, right? There's mine, there's Marlon's. We want to help you guys, but we'd love to.
And then you're doing a webinar later today?
That is right. Yeah. So today at 3:00, so an hour and a half from now, I'm going to be doing a webinar talking about the workshop. I'll see if I can pull Marlon to come to the workshop in Utah. It's going to be on July 18th and 19th. We're going to go over and give you guys a roadmap, show you what you need to do, give you scripts, all of those things. I'm going to talk about that today at 3:00. So if you guys want to come to that, I have the link on my Instagram. I believe I'll make sure it's on my story again right after this to help you guys. So keep coming in here, keep doing the work, make the phone calls, focus on those conversations, and be relentless with your follow-up. Marlon, thanks for being a special guest today. I appreciate it when you jump on here. Woo. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day. We will see you later every Thursday, 12:00 Arizona time. We're back on.